Hello there, fellow Skåligs everywhere. My name is Jim Dwyer. I'm with the Skål Club of New Jersey, and today I will be speaking with a good friend and current president of Skål International and a proud member of Skål Ciudad de Mexico, Juan Ignacio Steta. Hello, Juan. How are you?
Not bad, Jim, at all. Thank you, my friend. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, for those who don't know, we just finished the North American Skål Congress, which was held in Mexico City and hosted, of course, by Juan's home club. And let me tell all of you that it was spectacular in every way, shape, or form. With Skåligs being Skåligs at their best. So let me start off with a couple of questions, Juan, if you don't mind. The first one, and I think every Skålig wants to know this. As you know, we all know that the majority of Skåligs in the world are very satisfied attending their local members and doing no more than that, which is fine for most of them. Why did you decide to move up in the organization?
Well, I'm not a person that wants to remain or has remained just in how can I say, in one level. I want to go through the stairs and be moving up the ladder, if I may put it that way. Mm-hmm. In my particular case in Mexico City, I entered the club back in 1999, and in 2008 I became Mexico City's president. Then again I repeated because nobody. Remember, we had the General Congress in Mexico back in 2014.
Right.
At that time, nobody wanted to take the risk, so I was elected again to be president of Mexico City Club. Afterwards, 1 year afterwards, I was named national president, and then I joined the ISC in 2017. I've been in the board, the executive board, for the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. But I don't stay calm. I like to move up, and I really appreciate what, especially in Skål, is being done. I mean, if you move from the club to the national committee, that's another ball game. But you get to understand and see all the clubs, all the Mexico's club. We're right now 24 clubs. And when we have these national assemblies, which in our case, we have at least 4 a year, you get to meet all the presidents from the different clubs. You get to meet people from the club where the event is taking place, because we move around the country. And also, I mean, you feel that atmosphere, that amical atmosphere, that it's our bond. Yeah. So, and after being national president, getting into the ISC, well, you get to the world. I mean, you start looking and you start having interconnection and comments and talks with people from around the world, which have the same vision. Everybody in Skål, from my point of view, wants to remain with that amicable, to have to do business amongst friends, and everybody moves in that direction. Once you get to the executive committee, well, that's another ball game, but it's within the same lines. Everybody wants to do its best. Now,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, please go ahead.
No, I was going to say, to me, that is the essence of Skål. Meeting people and bonding and networking globally. You know, as I go back to my original part of my question, most people maybe don't see outside of their own little club, or I shouldn't poke fun at it. I don't mean little in the sense, but it's a smaller area rather than a larger area. I think my eyes were opened when I went to NASC in Calgary. I think it was in 2006 or 5, And I saw people from Canada, Mexico, the world president at the time, and it changed my whole view of Skål. And that's why I stayed, engaged worldwide rather than locally.
That is correct. I mean, and you remember, I mean, we have the website where you have access to 13,000 members.
Right.
So yes, you need to find out what your business is and what you want to achieve, and in which countries, because you have to build little by little. But really, we have a very good database to be used by everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we should encourage it. I'll speak a little bit more about that toward the end of our discussion. What are your 2023 goals for Skål?
Well, as I have mentioned, it's really my theme reflects my goals, which is a transition to enhance continuity. Okay, we're in a year of transition. We're changing from the 89 years model that we had in the governance structure. This is a complete new governance model, which I truly believe is going to make Skål more democratic. We're going to have 14 regions throughout the world. We're changing from an executive committee made of 6 people, or well, you extended it as executive board made of 8 people. And now we're going to have an executive board made up of 15 persons. 14 that will be his colleagues, and the 15th person will be a representative from the General Secretariat. So the participation of everybody will be a lot stronger. Yes, we used to have, and we still have this year, the ISC, but it's going to be merged starting 2024 with the Executive Committee. Now, it's very important because the ISC, yes, we sat with the president of the ISC, but they didn't have a vote, okay? They just could make recommendations and could make proposals, but never had the vote. Now with this new model, the 14 persons that will be in the board will have voice and vote. So that's also very, very important.
Yeah, I think it is important. When you say it's more democratic, I totally agree with you. More inclusive also. More of a chance for a smaller country or club to be on the committee. Yeah.
That is correct. For example, let me put one case. Latin America, excluding Mexico, okay? Well, there has only been one director from Argentina at one point in time, but he didn't go all the way to become vice president. But that's the only time there has been people from Panama all the way down to Argentina. And now, well, they will have a chance to have a seat in the board, which is very important. Yep. Now, the way directors are going to elect first the candidates to become president or vice president, because it's going to be a vice president elect. It's going to be a vice president and president elect. Any of those 14 or 12 persons, because you always will have a president and a vice president. But when you name your candidates, it's really, it's going to be based on the work you have done, on how you have contributed to Skål, on what are your expectations, what are your goals. But that will be decided by these 14 persons. They will name 2 candidates, and those 2 candidates then will be voted by all delegates of the clubs. But you can have a person from, let's say, Bolivia, okay? And if he does his work and is doing a fine job, well, he can be named candidate, which in other occasions couldn't be the case.
That's terrific.
Now, when I say also transition to enhance continuity, we have to remember that Past President Virgin, established 8 committees last year. Okay, and in those committees, a lot of people got involved. Okay, yes, we had the governance committee, the statutes and bylaws committee, but then you had the membership committee, then the training committee. I mean, a number of other committees that were put in place. Okay, the advocacy committee, the which is also geared with sustainability. But those committees have been working. And my goal also this year is to enhance their work. And thanks God, they are very, they have a lot of compromise. The co-chairs are doing their work, and the members, the Skål members that are part of each one of those committees have made their commitment, and they're working towards achieving the different goals that each committee has established.
Fantastic. One of the things I've gotten questions about is sponsorship. I know locally in our club, we're not doing a great job in getting sponsors for meetings, for the website, whatever. What should we be doing? Do you have any ideas of what clubs, national committees should be doing about sponsorship?
Well, what we have faced right now is that, and you saw it this last weekend when we had the NASC, okay? We managed to get a number of sponsors locally, okay? Or even at national level. When we have our meetings, you have Tequila Cuervo, because giving us all the tequila, okay? We have our vineyards giving us the wine for the meals. But it really goes up to the local and national level. When you go internationally, well, you have to go with big corporations, okay? That's the case where we had Best Western being one of our sponsors, okay? But we haven't been able to convince other corporations to also give us a grant, have them present in all our pages and social media, et cetera, et cetera. That has been our fault. We haven't been able to reach the high level executives of those corporations. Mm-hmm. And I think it happens in a lot, everywhere. I mean,
it does happen, yeah.
And they help you because you are within the country. People say, well, okay, I'm going to sponsor you with a tequila, but I know that you have hotels, that you have restaurants, and I want to be with them present.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, on our local level, we have members who are, let's say, with a tour company or with a resort. And I think we should be doing more and having them sponsor a meeting or sponsor the meal or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's spreading the word and just encouraging people to do that. Another question for you: how has Skål affected your personal business?
Well, right now at the level I'm in, it hasn't really. But when I started working with Skål or I became a Skål member, yes, I started having contacts. Let me make a comment first. What I'm doing right now is consultancy. Okay, so it's mainly corporate consultants. And when I started with this project back in 2016, well, I had to look for my clients, knocking doors without knowing anybody in the industry. So when I was invited to Skål to get more involved, because I had been a Skål member for a long time, but this change that we're talking about, knowing that you have a database that you can use, that's when it really became a true assistant in my new adventure. Okay? So that's when I started looking at the database, started looking with Mexicans around the country, but especially with Mexico City members. And yes, some of them I started working with. Some of them things were short, but then I went throughout Mexico as a country, and right now I have one of my clients is a marketing firm based in Cancun. Another one of my clients is a person that has all the franchise for the airport in Huatulco, all the meal franchise. I mean, he has the restaurants and the snack bars and whatever in Huatulco. That's another one of my clients. He's no longer a Skål member, but he used to be a Skål member. Then I have another person that has some investments in a couple of Thompson hotels down in the Ribera Maya. Well, he's one of the shareholders, but
Mhm.
that's also one of my clients. So yes, it worked.
Yeah.
Now in this current year, yeah, I can tell you that I've lost one of my clients because all the time that I have to devote to Skål, it's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's time consuming. Every morning when I turn on the computer, suddenly I start just looking like there are many emails coming in, at least 60, 70 emails that you have to respond on a daily basis. So you cannot devote all the time to all your clients.
Yeah, I appreciate that. When I was president of Skål USA, similar, but obviously not on the same scale. But you wake up and there were just a ton of emails. And then the next year, when I wasn't president anymore, they were gone. It's amazing. But what you said about the database is so important. And before we go on, I just want to, again, encourage every single Skål member to download the Skål app. It's incredibly important. Go to either your Apple Store or your Android Play Store, download the app, make sure you're signed in to skål.org. You can immediately after that hit on members area. It takes you directly to the Skål database, which is invaluable if you want to enhance your personal or professional career. It's incredible. So I encourage you also, the podcast that we're doing, the Training and Education Committee, can also be found through the Skål app. It's in the Knowledge Through Inspiration portal, which you'll see highlighted on the Skål app. So I encourage that. We're going to hammer that all the time because when I did it, I couldn't believe how much easier it made. Now, with that being said, we have a new website coming out in a few months. So when the new website comes out, all of the links for the app will just be connected to that website. It's not going to make you change anything with your app. It's just that it's going to be connected to the new website. It's easy, and that's
Jim, even the new governance model,
yes,
the whole package, it's in there. Okay?
Everything.
There's a whole presentation regarding the new governance model. I believe it's a PowerPoint presentation that the transition committee prepared, and you can go throughout it and learn more about all the things that are going to occur starting 2024.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you go to a meeting, a local meeting, you can show everybody in the club, oh, you want to know about the governance model? Here it is. Boom, done. You know, it's when I first saw it at the World Congress, I said, wow, it was so great. One last thing, Juan, I think every single person wants to know this, and you can give me maybe not exact details. We are looking at a new venue for the World Congress. Can you give me the deadline and when that will be chosen?
Okay. When we announced that Quebec was not running, we went to the second runner-up of last year, 2 years ago, more, because with the pandemic, we had virtual AGMs. But the second runner-up, when Quebec was elected, we went back to them, spoke with the members of the club, and they went and analyzed their possibilities. At the end of the day, they also decided not to run. But meanwhile, when the word was out that Quebec was not going, 4 clubs came to us and said, well, we would like to take the risk. We would like to organize a Congress in our cities. At the end, these 4 clubs, one of them decided, which was Prague, not to follow. And right now we have three alternatives. One is the New York club has made a proposal. Well, not yet. I mean, they decided to raise their hand. Then you have Córdoba, Argentina, and then you also have Malaga in Spain. Okay, so right now we're waiting for the proposals of the 3 of them. The deadline is this coming Monday, the 15th of May, and we will have to take the decision within the next, let's say, 10 days.
Yeah.
Because we need to have the project, the new governance model, calls for action starting 120 days before the Congress. So we need to give the time for the girls in Spain to start working all the tasks that they need to follow within those 120 days prior to the Congress. Their work is going to be assisted because starting this coming week, all Wednesdays, there's going to be, I wouldn't like to call them training sessions, but it will be sessions where the new governance model is going to be presented. It's going to be every Wednesday at 5 o'clock local time, and we're going to go through all the 14 regions, okay, to present the amendments, to present the whole project for people to become knowledgeable about it. So I don't know when it's going to be in the States, but there's already a calendar. There's going to be in Mexico, there's going to be in Latin America, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia. So in the whole world, we will be having these sessions.
Perfect.
And I think that will also aid in the knowledge of this new governance model.
Excellent, excellent. Well, President Juan Steta, my friend, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I think everybody appreciates it. Godspeed on your travels and best wishes for the best of the year.
Thank you very much, my dear Jim. And it's a pleasure to see you again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Skål.
Skål, as you say. But we're missing the wine or the tequila.
I know.